Berlin, early July 1945. The war is over, but peace has not yet arrived. Between ruins, burned-out facades, and open streets, people move through a city that has lost its function. Orientation exists only in memory. Street names are familiar, but the paths lead nowhere. Buildings still stand, but they no longer protect. Windows are open because there is no glass left. The sounds of the front have fallen silent, but relief has not taken their place. The silence feels tense, almost threatening. It is filled with questions for which no one has answers. Even before political decisions are made, Berlin has already become a symbol of the total collapse of an order and of the uncertainty of what will come next. When the war in Europe ends on May 8, 1945, Berlin has long since been militarily defeated. Weeks of street fighting, heavy artillery fire, and systematic bombing have devastated the city. More than 50,000 tons of explosives have fallen on the urban area. Entire districts exist only as fields of rubble. Others stand like burned-out stage sets of a vanished world. But physical destruction is only part of the problem. With the military collapse, the state itself has disintegrated. Administration, police, courts, and supply systems function only in fragments. Millions of people are homeless, displaced, or on the move. Berlin is habitable, but no longer governable. There is also a moral dimension. For years, Berlin was the ideological center of the regime, the place from which war, terror, and annihilation were organized. That past now weighs on every decision. The victors are taking over not only a city of ruins, but responsibility for a politically discredited society. The Red Army controls Berlin completely. Only in early July are British and American troops allowed to move into their agreed sectors. The French follow later. Officially, this is a joint occupation. Unofficially, a reordering of Europe has already begun, one whose full consequences are not yet understood. Berlin is not only defeated, it is exposed. In these days, a man arrives in Berlin whose task is neither to administer nor to judge, but to record. George Stevens, Hollywood director, Academy Award winner, and officer in the US Army. His camera focuses on places that were inaccessible during the collapse of the regime. The Hotel Adlon, once a meeting place for diplomats and celebrities. The Brandenburg Gate, symbol of state power. The Reich Chancellery, the administrative center of the regime. Everything lies in ruins. Stevens is not filming for entertainment, he is filming for memory. His images are sober, almost detached, and precisely because of that, they carry weight. No explanatory commentary, no moral verdicts. The images speak for themselves. Among the ruins, he films faces, Berliners who have learned to lower their expectations. Women, children, the elderly, a society without a center. Stevens knows these images will later be interpreted. He does not show guilt or victimhood, but a condition, life after the collapse of an ideology. In his footage, Berlin itself becomes the central figure, not as a geographic place, but as a warning of how power, propaganda, and violence can drive a society into the abyss. While Berlin struggles for daily survival, the Soviet Union celebrates its victory. On Red Square, the Red Army marches in a display that combines military strength, sacrifice, and ideological triumph. 27 million dead in the Great Patriotic War give this victory a historical weight that justifies every political demand. Joseph Stalin stands at the height of his power. His army controls large parts of Eastern Europe and Berlin. The Soviet occupation is militarily dominant, politically determined, and ideologically clear. The Western Allies pursue a different approach. They do not want to merely control Germany, but to stabilize it permanently. Denazification, democratization, and economic reconstruction are meant to prevent defeat from turning into renewed radicalization. These different logics of power collide directly in Berlin. Every decision, police, media, political parties, housing, is political. Cooperation exists as long as it is necessary. but no side is willing to surrender real influence. Berlin is not merely being administered, it is being strategically prepared as a key city in an order that no one yet openly names. For Berliners, however, politics is abstract. Everyday life decides everything. Food is scarce, rations barely sufficient. Water is not clean everywhere, and diseases such as typhus and dysentery pose real threats. Black markets emerge at critical points, especially where occupation zones meet. Money loses its meaning. Watches, jewelry, and last personal belongings are traded for bread or potatoes. Rubble women define the cityscape. Stone by stone, they clear the ruins, often in exchange for a better ration card. Refugees from the east pass through the city, many without a destination or perspective. Children grow up among the ruins, collecting firewood or helping with barter. Childhood exists only in fragments. At the same time, Berliners closely observe their new rulers. Who governs harshly? Who allows room to maneuver? Who treats people as defeated enemies? And who as future citizens? The city begins to compare. And these comparisons create tensions that cut deeper than hunger. By mid-July 1945, the world's attention turns to Potsdam. Stalin, Truman, and Churchill meet to decide the future of Germany and Europe. Officially, the agenda is cooperation, security, and stability. Unofficially, it is influence, balance of power, and mistrust. Truman is new in office. He still believes in the continuation of the anti-Hitler coalition. But he carries a knowledge that changes everything. Days earlier, the first atomic bomb was successfully tested in New Mexico. A weapon capable not only of ending the war against Japan, but of permanently shifting the global balance of power. Stalin immediately recognizes its significance. Friendliness becomes a tactic. Information is withheld. The talks are polite, but tense. Every sentence is weighed, every formulation left deliberately open. No one wants to commit. Everyone wants to keep options, especially in case cooperation fails. While negotiations continue in Potsdam, George Stevens keeps filming Berlin, a city whose future is being decided without its inhabitants having a voice. The Potsdam decisions sound rational and balanced. Germany is to be demilitarized, denazified, and democratized. A division of the country is officially ruled out. The Allies emphasize their shared responsibility. In Berlin, cautious optimism emerges. Administrations resume work. Schools reopen gradually. Newspapers are published again, under supervision. Everyday life begins to stabilize. But beneath the surface, differences grow. In the Soviet zone, political restructuring proceeds quickly and uncompromisingly. Parties are steered, opponents eliminated. In the Western zones, the focus lies more on economic recovery and pluralistic structures. For many Berliners, a contradictory feeling develops. Hope for stability meets a diffuse awareness that this order is not uniform. Conversations about politics grow more cautious, opinions quieter. Berlin lies precisely on this fault line, a city, 4 powers, 4 visions of the future. George Stevens completes his filming, more than 80 hours of footage, color images of a destroyed city and an open future. Then he leaves Berlin. The films disappear into archives, untouched for decades. The city believes in a new beginning, in cooperation, in the lessons of the war. Many Berliners are convinced that the worst is behind them. But history knows no true zero hour. Borders harden, mistrust grows, decisions postponed in 1945 return to shape Europe. There is still no wall. The Cold War has not yet been declared. Hope still exists, but Berlin will soon stand at the center of the world again, not as the capital of an empire, but as the front line of a new era.